Oh, man. Another COFOH live and Undead. Oh my God, I've had too much medication. I'm set up here with a nice big splint in bed. So sorry if I'm gonna mess a few things up tonight, but we've got a great show for you. We're joined by Mark Pirro and G. Larry Butler. Oh, but first.
Something on my face.
Mark, Larry, how are you?
Hi, how you guys?
More importantly, how are you? My God, it's a tragic mishap.
Yeah, just a little bit of a mishap. So I don't know if you guys can see that.
Oh my God.
Oh,
yeah.
Hot looking knee.
So pretty soon that limb will die off, and we'll be able to defeat the neighborhood. Finally something good has come of it.
Maybe you can grow another one, just like a chameleon.
Yeah, they tell me I'm part gecko, so yeah, we'll see.
You start selling insurance.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, or what was it? Under CRISPR, DNA codes and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of change things up that way. Oh man, so it's great to see you guys. Mark, you're a filmmaker. You've gone back 35, 40 years. I think your first film was a Polish vampire in Burbank.
That was my first feature film. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. How you grew up and how you got into filmmaking.
Well, let's see. I've always enjoyed films, and I started making Super 8 movies when I was 13. My mom bought me a Super 8 movie camera for my I think it was for Christmas actually, and I started making these short little films in upstate New York with schoolmates. And then I came out to California in '74 and got a job at Universal Studios as a tour guide. And kind of hung around the sets and sort of watched filmmaking and going, my God, I was making movies kind of like this on a smaller scale, shooting out of sequence, working from scripts. And then after 5 years of living out here and not doing anything, I decided to buy another Super 8 outfit and projector, camera, editor, the whole bit. And I started making some short Super 8 films using fellow tour guides who most of them wanted to be actors anyway. Some of them were descendants of actors, like Gregory Peck's son worked with us, and Kirk Douglas's youngest son. So we ended up using some of these actors, and I made these short films. And then after doing a few of those, I thought I'm going to try and do a feature film, and that was Polish Vampire in Burbank.
Oh, that's so cool. The with that one, you were able to get on like USA Up All Night. And other outlets back back then.
Yeah, well, we got lucky because timing was on our side. When we made the movie, it was really not intended to sell. We shot it on Super 8. You can't project it in movie theaters. There's nothing you can really do with Super 8. So we thought we'd make it as a calling card to get other jobs. But home video was just starting out then, and we happened to have a movie that was available for home video. So we found a distributor that said, you know what, we're not going to tell anybody that it was shot on Super 8. We're not going to tell anybody the budget. I'm going to try and promote this as a real movie. He took it to Cannes. They showed it at a bunch of different places, and we ended up picking up a couple of sales, one being USA Network and one being home video. And so again, it was really timing that kind of worked for us at that point.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Larry, you've been on before. We've talked about your career. tell us a little bit of what it's like to work with Mark on the Deceased Won't Desist.
Oh, I'm
here, so you can say whatever you want.
no. Turn around. I'm a priest, remember?
Oh, that's right.
Only positive things.
Yeah.
No, I was so fortunate to meet him. I was a little nervous. I met him through Deborah Lamb, who you probably know, very, very accomplished actress. And she gave me some information about your auditioning for a role in your movie. So apparently I did okay. I got the part, but this man is a creative genius. And I'd love to tell the world about him. He's done over 14 movies, and God, I mean, people should know about him. And every one of them has a message, and they're very cleverly done. So anyway, I just love working with him. I didn't really love the part at first because I was a little embarrassed about certain scenes, but I got through it. And he kind of held my hand, and he kind of, it's okay, don't have a nervous breakdown.
Right.
So, and then I did, which is very important to the scene, of course.
Okay.
But we won't talk about that. But
No spoilers.
No spoilers. But it's a very important pivotal scene in the movie. So, but anyways, we shot it at different locations, and I truly enjoyed the process. It was, in a difficult time of the pandemic, but I think we all did quite well, because of, the way he structured it, and, it just guided us all through it. And so I was very satisfied with it, and I work with him again in a heartbeat. So
that's cool. Yeah, Mark, tell us a little bit more about this project, about the Won't Desist.
You want the story, or you want to hear the production value of it, or the production, how we put it together?
Tell us what it's about.
It's about 90 minutes now, actually. Old humor. No, it's about a deceased individual, very wealthy man, who sends a bunch of letters to a bunch of beneficiaries, claiming that they're in his will, but they have to go up to a cabin up north where it's snowy and isolated. And when they get there, they find out that he's created a series of videos that basically addresses every person there and tells them that they're all going to get exactly what they deserve. Turns out that everybody did something to him throughout his life that he held a grudge to till his death. So basically he says, my estate is worth about $500 million, and I might bequeath it to one of you, but the rest of you are going to be dead by the end of this weekend. So, first they think, is he kidding? And then as one of them gets picked off one at a time, he pops up with another video basically talking about what just happened. Let me get my camera.
Your coworkers, getting out of hand, huh?
So he has to be near me all the time. Yeah. But anyway, so he, like I say, he shows up after each death and talks about what just happened. So now the question is he really dead? Did he prepare all these videos? How did he know exactly what was going to happen and the way they die? So it sets up a question like, what's going on? Is somebody working with him? Anyway, so that's kind of the plot in a nutshell.
Nice. That's cool. The now it's completed, right? Everything's got everything ready to go, and you're looking to premiere it later on this summer.
Yeah, I'm figuring between August and October. A lot of it really depends on the status of movie theaters, because we'd like to use a movie theater for it. It also depends on whether or not people are willing to go to a movie theater. Right. So I've been fighting him for a while.
The best part is talk about the camera too.
But anyway, so that's basically the plan. Hopefully we'll do it. My last few films, we've always premiered at some theater or some location, studio, whatever, and hope to do that with this one as well. And I started to tell you that when we started this film, it was just at the beginning of the pandemic. And then we had to go up to this cabin up north, which is owned by the gentleman who's doing the music for my movie. He also has a cabin. So we got the whole ensemble up there. I think it was 2 or 3 trips, but they were spaced out because by the time we got to the second trip, the pandemic was in full force. And, so we really had to be careful about distancing and masks and the whole thing. And, but we managed to get through it. So now I'm just color grading it. And, we just added the final music to it. And we're good to go.
Oh, that's fantastic. Larry, even during the pandemic too, I think you were still doing, some other, acting gigs as well.
Yeah, I've done almost a dozen movies in the last year.
Wow.
I've got 5 or 6 more to go by the end of this year. So it's just like, be careful what you wish for. When God wants to punish you, he gives you what you want.
Oh, you want to talk about God punishing me? I invented this toy for a movie I did 10 years ago, which is we did a movie called The God Complex, which basically takes the stories of the Bible and turns them on their ear. So one of the characters in the movie is this toy, which is called the Submissive Jesus Prayer Answering Talking Head. And basically how this works is you pray for something and then you twist the crown of thorns on his head and then he answers your prayers. Like if you say, please, Jesus, make this movie be a really big success. And he's not working now. Oh, there's no batteries in him. That's
okay.
Put money at Mark. Gotta
get those batteries.
Oh, I gotta put batteries in them.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Even
talk about yourself.
Batteries.
Yeah, I thought he had to put money in it, but no, they're great.
There's that too.
He's got several to sell if anybody's interested.
It's a good looking collector's plate, that's for sure.
Christmas gift.
If it's were to take quarters.
Yeah, basically now what happens is now that you got the batteries in there, so you say, please Jesus, let this movie be a success.
My brain hurts, but I might be able to arrange that.
There you go.
So
he says 100 different things. And anyway, since we were on the religious kick, I thought I'd bring that up.
Yeah, I read that your bio about the God complex. That one's more of a documentary. Is that correct?
No, it's a narrative. It's about basically it follows the Bible stories. We start with in the beginning. Then we got Adam and Eve. Then we got to get the cat out of the way again. Then we've got Adam and Eve, Noah and the Ark, Abraham and Isaac, Virgin Mary, Jesus, the whole 9 yards. But it's done, like I said, with a slant. Like, for example, when Mary gets pregnant, God doesn't want the child. It was an unplanned pregnancy. So she ends up taking him to the deity's court to sue him for, for statutory rape, basically. And, and then we've got Moses and the burning bush is another segment where the burning bush happens to be between Moses's wife's legs, big flame. And then God's head appears there. I mean, it really is a blasphemy at its best.
Yes.
Yeah. It sounds like a wonderful black comedy or satire of sorts.
Yeah, it is. I don't think there's ever been a movie that's really parodied the Bible as much as this one does. So,
yeah.
And then when we made the Jesus head, because in the movie, God and Jesus end up getting a job in contemporary time at a toy factory, a manufacturing place, because they blend in, like Clark Kent, and they wear glasses and the whole bit. And they're making this toy, and of course, God and Jesus find it very offensive. But then I thought, you know what? I'm going to try and really make this toy, and we'll market it and we'll sell it. And, we've sold about 800 over the last 10 years. So we're not exactly doing Mattel business, but it's fun. It's fun toy. Anyway.
That's pretty cool. Do you, when you're working on films, like you also have like, is it the Undead Nudist Colony or?
Nudist Colony of the Dead. That was a movie we made in 91.
Right.
Yeah. It was a musical.
Oh, God.
Was it actually a musical?
Yeah. You're saying it's not your typical horror, zombie, comedy, romance musical. Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So, when you're going to work on a film project, it sounds like, from start to scratch, from scratch to finish, right? writing, directing, producing, casting, like what do you look at it for a project? Because I know you're working with smaller budgets, so is it more of like, what I can do logistically?
Pretty much. I usually write what I have available. Like if I have a friend that owns a restaurant in North Hollywood, Italian restaurant, which I've used in numerous films. So if I need a restaurant scene, I'll write in, an Italian restaurant. In this film, originally we needed a mansion, but you're not going to get a mansion for nothing. So I switched it to a cabin. And then my composer, a guy named Jerry Danielson, said, I have a cabin, and he made it available. So usually I'll write based on what I have available. And then I'll try to write something that I find entertaining, or, a story that I'm interested in telling. That's pretty much the way it's always been for me. It's like, why make a movie that you wouldn't enjoy seeing? I've only done that once. There was one movie that I made as sort of a hired gun, and it's my least favorite of my collection, but it was a movie that I did for another company. They spent the money, they shot it in 35 millimeter. So I was really just working as a hired gun for that one. Okay.
Wow. I think, one of the early introductions to your work that I came across was My Mom's a Werewolf. I think you were the writer on that.
We did that one for Crown Pictures right after Death Row Game Show. They financed Death Row Game Show. I directed, I wrote it. I was one of the I was an executive producer on it. But then they said, wow, this guy made a movie for very little money for us. Let's make another one. So I wrote My Mom's a Werewolf. But then it got to the point where we were talking about a salary. And I thought, well, we basically gave them Death Row Game Show for practically nothing. So now we thought we should be reimbursed a little bit, and they didn't want to pay us very much. So I walked away as a director, which in retrospect may not have been the smartest move. But they ended up making the movie, and they ended up spending twice as much as they did for Death Row Game Show. But they used a lot of my cast and crew, mostly the crew, to kind of pick away and bring them to the production, because they knew they could work for nothing or very little. But so that was one. And I worked for Crown one other time. I wrote a treatment for them called Holiday with the Teacher, which ended up becoming a movie called Lena's Holiday. So that's really my extent of working for, that company.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty cool. So it sounds like, despite some headaches and everything, you're able to, take your film projects and jump to the next project pretty
well now, especially now because of technology. It used to be a bit of a struggle to shoot a film with no budget, because back in the early days we would shoot on Super 8 film. Now I don't know if your audience has ever even heard of what Super 8 film is, right. But in the early days before video, there would be a camera that actually had a pistol grip on it. You could Google it. It looks like a gun. I'd be afraid to use it today because you'd probably get shot. But and then you'd put in a cartridge. You could shoot for about 2.5 minutes before you'd have to change and put in another cartridge. And it would cost maybe about $10 or $15 for 2.5 minutes of film, and then maybe another $2 or $3 to process it. So you didn't really shoot a lot when you were doing Super 8 movies. And now, because of the technology today, you put in a camera, a digital camera, and you can shoot forever, which has its own set of drawbacks, because now you've got thousands of feet of footage to wade through. But it's definitely changed. The industry has changed. It's never been easier, though, to make a movie than it is now. You can do it on your computer. You can edit on your home computer.
Yeah, I've got friends that have been working on, film projects, mostly short film projects over Zoom, just shooting, what's in camera, and then going back and editing that or animating aspects of it.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's just I always feel like an old codger because I used to talk at school. Sometimes I talk at UCLA or something, and it's like, you damn kids today with your CDs and your DVD players. Right? I used to have to take film that was the size of my fingernail and splice it together. I had to use Scotch tape. And that was the other thing, too. When you made a cut, you had to commit to that cut. It wasn't like you could work off of a work print. So if you would cut it long and then shorten it, you couldn't do it the other way around. If you cut it too short and then you decided, I want to put 10 frames back, you get a jump cut or something. So it really honed my editing skills working in that medium. But
Wow.
I stopped doing it I think the last Super 8 movie I did was Nudist Colony of the Dead. And the medium had just gone so far downhill because nobody was really catering to Super 8 much anymore. Video was kind of coming into vogue.
Right.
So I just said I'd never use that medium again. It's still around somewhere. You can still find Super 8 film and equipment. And
yeah, I think doesn't Kodak still put stuff out there for like?
I believe they still do. I can't believe they do enough to make business, to make enough money. But
right, I'm wondering if like Super 8, film is, like how vinyl, made a comeback with music.
Yeah, there's probably some filmmakers out there that go, I'm a purist, I'm a filmmaker, I'm not going to shoot on a damn video. But
right.
Great. I said, go ahead. How's the 8-track player in your car doing? I mean, it's just car. I use a horse and buggy. If you want to make even your video look like Super 8, there's filters you could put on to give it scratches and jumpy and all the crap that comes with Super 8. But no. So after we did Nudist Colony of the Dead, I did a 35 millimeter film for another company, and then from then on, it's been my own stuff. I would just either shoot digital video, HD video. This current film was 4K video. So it's, as the technology keeps changing, we kind of follow it along. But going back to the, Super 8, that was just the cheapest way one could make a movie back in the 80s, the early 80s when we made Polish Vampire.
Yeah. Wow. That, man, that's really cool. The, Larry, you've been acting in so many films of all different, walks of life. What is it that, as an actor draws you to a character?
Why do I enjoy doing these different characters?
Yeah.
I enjoyed being different people because when I grew up, I was teased horribly in school, grade school, high school. So I couldn't wait to jump the fence, get out of there, number one. But number two, I read somewhere recently that people that don't fit in have to stand out. So I enjoy wearing other people's skin, like Robert De Niro said. He enjoys being different people because I don't really enjoy being in my own skin. So I feel like I'm kind of a character in real life. So I want to play different characters that are very dramatically different. And so I've had the chance to do that, especially in the last year. Every movie is a different character, different accent, different attitude. It's just fantastic. So, but then it's a little too much. Now I'm exhausted, and I'm going to take maybe a week off and then be in another one that just came up on me out of the blue. So anyway, it's just a fantastic process. I enjoy. I work with the lines first, and then I develop the character, and it's like Laurence Olivier said, you put it on like an onion, one layer at a time. And then the physicality comes last, but first comes the emotional core. And so I'm a method actor, and I use real emotion. And I used to teach acting, and I tell my students always, don't fake the feeling. Don't fake it, feel it, because the audience will pull back if they don't believe you, if they see the strings. And so, some of them listened to me, some of them didn't. But you can tell. I tell people all the time, turn the volume off on your television set. Watch them. If they convince you without you hearing the words, then they're really a good actor, because it's not in the words. It's how they act towards each other, as reaction to each other, body language. So anyway, I don't know if I answered your question.
No, that's awesome. Mark, on your film projects, you wear so many hats. Do you also like to get in front of the camera as well?
I don't do it as a rule. Like with Polish Vampire, I starred in that film only because my lead actor quit. We were about 2 months into production, and we actually used character actor Eddie Deason, who you may know or not. He was in Grease. He was in I Want to Hold Your Hand. He was in 1941, War Games. I mean, he's a kind of nerdy character, and at the time, he was just coming off of Grease, I believe, or 1941. So a friend of mine introduced me to him, and he had never starred in a movie. He was going to star in Polish Vampire. Well, having worked for Robert Zemeckis and Steven Spielberg, and then he comes and sees my Dog and Pony show, he kind of said, where's my dressing room? And where's the limo? So I think he kind of got a little disenchanted and left the project. So while we were in production, I figured, you know what, I'm just going to jump in the role and I'll rewrite the story so that his character dies early on in the film. And then we kind of made it look like American Werewolf in London, where his character comes back as a skeleton that basically talks like Eddie Dees. And in fact...
Uh-oh, kind of froze there.
Froze up. Okay, well, we'll carry the torch.
All right, so let's start juggling, Larry. Ah! Oh, no balls.
Heal you.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a joy to work with Mark, and it's an incredible process, with him. And so he's one of the more
That's
creative.
why I changed the title. It was originally...
Oh, here he is. There he is.
There you are. You're back.
Well, anyway, where was I?
Well, we were juggling.
Okay, yes. So Eddie Deason left the project. I jumped into the role, finished up the movie, changed the title to A Polish Vampire in Burbank because it started resembling American Werewolf in London. And that was it. And then I'll do cameos in other films, but as an actor, now remembering lines and hitting your marks and all that, that's a little beyond my scope of intellect.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, like I said before, you wear all the hats, when you're producing your own projects. It's, right. I mean, it's such a big undertaking, for one person. You've got your production partners and everything, but man, these are
a lot of it is bringing a team together that wants to be a part of it. That's a big help, because a lot of times if you got somebody that's there only because there's a paycheck at the end of the week, or they're doing it only because it's a job, it doesn't work. So I have a lot of actors that I've used over and over and over again. One of the actors in this film, he was in my very first short film I made in 1978. He's been in at least 6 or 7 of my films, maybe more than that. And they keep coming back because it's not like there's no stress. There's not time is money. There is no money. So it's just, let's do it as we can. If an actor can't make it on any given day, we shoot around around them. I always tell actors, don't give up a job. If you get some other gig or something happens, let me know. We'll work around you. I've had actors that have contacted me.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Oh dear, that's always in the middle of a good yard.
But yeah, he had. Well, I'll let him tell the story, but yeah, he had a situation like that during the movie, but it worked out. So he understands, how to juggle and how to switch things around. So
yeah. I'd imagine, for something like that, you have to be pretty dynamic, and you're also playing den mother and psychologist and best friend,
Yes.
And I mean that's tough, to have to do that. But I find it also very admirable.
Yeah, I always tell people I wouldn't want to be a director because it's like herding cats. And with Mark, he literally herds cats in his house, as you can see.
True, we were watching that. Yeah.
I met that cat. Beautiful cat.
Well, at one point it showed its ass to the camera, so it's like try not to go ass to camera.
So. Yeah, it needs to steal the thunder of the whole group. So
yep. So much for that thunder.
Yeah.
So Larry, I mean, you've got this film coming out. What other new films, can we expect that's going to be released?
All right, let's see. Maybe I can pull it up here. I've got the thing already there. I'll just give you a brief rundown of some of them. Last May, I did something called Journey to Hell. Somebody called me on Skype, a director, and he actually cast me right there on the spot as I did my first read. He says, "Okay, you're one of the demons." So I was a demon. I had paint. And so somebody else saw the face paint, and I called him, and he says, "Can you come over right away? Don't wash that off your face." I just gotten off of that one project. He said, "Come and do my movie." So I did 2 with the same face paint. And then I lately I've been doing a lot of movies with face paint. And I did the one with Joe Kelly, Clown Motel 2. I did that in Nevada. Then I went up to Oregon and did The Bleeding Dark with Jason Hawkins. And Alien Danger with James Balsamo. I'm ready to do 14 Ghosts with him. I did Bite School 2.
Nice.
Mind Melters 2. I did a Perry Mason in between all of that. And I think I already told you about that, where I was in the original Perry Mason, the Raymond Burr.
Right. You did mention that last time. I
interacted with him. And then that 30 years later, I get to do the second one, you know, and it was a TV miniseries, I believe.
Right.
So I had a part in that. And then Call It a While, I was the minister, you know.
So you used that, you know, your
a little different.
Your costume.
Yeah, it was different. I had a black hat and black, but no collar.
Oh, no collar. Okay.
And I did Killer Waves 2 with James Balsamo. And I did, oh God, so many things. It's just hard to mention. It Wants Blood that's just come out. That's
also with James, right?
Yeah. And a lot of other people. Bill Aryakon was a producer on that. And Dirk, a professional wrestler, he's done a lot of James movies. And and then the one I just finished is called Screams Bloody Murder with Sean C. Phillips. And I got to work with the woman from Rob Zombie's Halloween. She's in the movie. Scout Taylor.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Her name, Scout Hamilton Taylor or something.
Something like that, yeah. Wow.
And always just one after the other. It's just blowing my mind.
Yeah.
So I've got some stuff coming out maybe the end of the year to Portuguese Bend that I'm looking forward to. It's about the Harbor Commission being very corrupt, and they're sending over illegal cargo.
Oh,
and
here comes Mark again.
What's that?
Oh, Mark just popped back up. Hello, Mark.
I missed you guys.
Oh, we missed you.
Oh, there you are. Start talking.
Spectrum Internet. Spectrum Internet. Just thought I'd let you know.
Lovely.
So this is an endorsement not to use them, huh?
I'll tell you, this happens a few times a day. I figured it wasn't going to happen this time, but, you know, please, Jesus, don't ever let it happen again, okay?
Stop it. Okay. It's a deal, okay?
All right. Let's see if Jesus keeps his word.
Yeah, you don't have to twist his arm.
Oh, what I miss?
Oh, we were talking about some of Larry's upcoming films that are about to be released, since he too is a bit of a workaholic.
Yeah, sure. So it didn't start out to be that way, but it happened anyway. I just finished one with Russell Emanuel called Staycation.
Right.
Way out in the middle of the country. I can't really tell where it was, but we're in the middle of nowhere, out near the desert. So that was a lot of fun. Compatible is another one I went to Colorado for. So I've been bouncing around different states and so much. Right. So Compatible is a fantastic movie. It's about the perils of online dating, you know, like human monsters. Right. And the producer director was actually the star of it, Joe Kelly. So he did a really good job.
Nice.
That's me. So
that's cool.
All right, your turn, Mark.
Hey, Mark, we've got the teaser to the Deceased Won't
Desist.
Yeah. Should we go ahead and play it?
Why not?
All right, sounds good. Let me turn this off real quick, and then.
Rudy's a good boy. He'd never hurt anyone.
What the hell was that? Looks like we're heirs to some rich guy's fortune.
His estate is worth over $500 million, and I'm up for a piece of it.
I may come back with a healthy inheritance.
Hi there! We're here! You have affected Mr. Barnett's life, and he plans to give every one of you exactly what he believes you deserve.
I actually despise each and every one of you. Some just a little, some more than you can imagine.
I was his wife. I should get the estate, period.
You were his wife for only a month.
I said period.
One of you will own my entire estate. The rest of you will be dead.
You drove up all that way. You have to stick it out.
Hey, I just lost internet.
I did too.
Your cars have all been disabled and your communication to the outside world has been cut off.
He's gotta be joking, right? This man is dead and he's still causing me grief.
It's sagging, huh?
If we stay here, we're just shitting ducks. You mean sitting ducks?
Check my underwear.
Someone here is carrying out Rudy's plan and making it look like he knows what's going on. And it has to be one of you.
Why are you all staring at me?
Back to the bedroom!
He drained over blood. Rudy has to still be alive. Your shit could never just let anything lie. Even his corpse. He's always known how to fuck with people's heads, and he's still doing it.
Anybody feel like praying?
Yeah, that's productive.
Are you absolutely sure your son is dead?
Yes,
Positively sure?
my son is deceased.
Bless me, Father, for I am about to sin. He always thought his next project would be explosive.
And we're just gonna sit here and look out for each other till morning. Does anyone have to pee?
I just did.
You ate asparagus today, didn't you?
Oh, bravo! That was fun. Yeah,
Cool.
I'll never look at asparagus the same way again.
Yeah, neither will I. Method acting.
Yeah, there you go.
Brillante.
Yeah, so we shot, like I said, we shot this. It took a year basically from when we started it to finishing it up, and that's kind of standard for my films because we never film on a set schedule because everybody's working around their own schedules. You know, everybody's got jobs. Not everybody, but some people. So we would never shoot 5 days in a row, even going back 40 years. We'd shoot a day here, a day there, and eventually put it together.
Okay. Yeah, it's still such a Herculean, process to keep everybody's, calendar like that.
Well, I'll tell you, we had one actor actually bail this film because of the pandemic, and it forced me to rewrite a little bit of the movie. Now, he was nice enough to allow us to shoot some green screen footage of him basically explaining why he's leaving. He sets up the video. He then, in the original script, he was supposed to be there to the very end. But at this point now, because he bailed on the film, we shot him saying, okay, everybody, my job here is done. Good luck to you. And now logically, it makes sense for his character to leave the film. But normally I wouldn't forgive something like that. But because of the pandemic, everybody was a little bit afraid. So I can understand him wanting to, abandon it. But it happens. You have to work around. I've had actors in the past, like I told you, my lead actor quit on Polish Vampire. I've had other actors that they were smaller characters in the movie that either became less available or they just got disenchanted with it. So it would cause me to rewrite the story to make it work. It's like a game of chess. You make a move, they make a move. You make a counter move, they make a move. And basically you do that until it's done. Nice.
Mark, for you as a filmmaker, what's the most rewarding feeling after a day of shoots?
It's funny. It's not so much after a day. It's when we finally premiere it. That to me is the orgasm. Making the movie is foreplay all the way through. But when you have that premiere and the actors get up and, you know, maybe go up on stage after the movie and they're celebrities for one night. That's rewarding. In fact, I've often joked on it. The premiere almost always costs me more than the movie. You know, I always spend more on the premiere because we'll have either we'll cater it or we'll have a theater, you know. It's on the day-to-day part of it. I don't really look at it as anything like, oh, this was a good day, this was a bad day. I mean, it's just, you know, I break it down by the days. I'll set up one day of shooting, get through it, and then set up another day, maybe a week later or something, and then get through that, and then just slowly start putting together this cinematic jigsaw puzzle until we've got it all.
Nice. The wow, it's such an amazing process. You know, Mark, can you tell us a little bit of like your early you know, influences or inspirations?
I don't know if I had a specific inspiration. I mean, I always loved movies and I loved horror comedies. I think one of the earliest films that I loved was Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, because it was one of the first films that mixed the genre of horror and comedy. To talk about Polish Vampire, it was probably Roman Polanski's Fearless Vampire Killers, the movie he made in the 60s, that inspired me to make that film, because it was, again, a horror comedy. So if you can do that and you can kind of be successful at it, excuse me.
Perfect timing from the cat.
Oh, God. No, but I mean, and then, you know, I mean, I always like comedies, like Woody Allen films. I was a big James Bond fan back in the days when James Bond was handsome. And I basically put together, I did a James Bond parody before Polish Vampire. I did a 45-minute James Bond parody called The Spy Who Did It Better. And we did that, you know, we went to Las Vegas and shot, we had a high-powered skateboard chase down the streets of Las Vegas. Wow. Did it all with no permits, and nobody really cared. You know, because we were just kids. We were in our 20s.
Yeah.
In fact, you can go on YouTube and you can see clips from it if you just type in The Spy Who Did It Better.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, that's probably it as far as influences go.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. How about yourself, Larry?
What was the question?
What do you pay attention?
Yeah. Are you off there sketching again?
No, I'm writing what he's saying. I want to look up some of his stuff. You know?
Oh, okay.
Really.
Yeah, Larry, we're just asking, you know, what your biggest influences are.
As an actor, or just to get into movie? Probably Anthony Hopkins is one of my biggest influences. I love the intensity of that man, and you know, he uses real emotion, and so I do too. And I tell people, beware, because I'm going to be in that scene with you, and it's going to be very intense. They don't believe me. I did a movie in Alabama once called, I think they changed the name. It was called Fat Chance. It's about 600-pound people, you know, went to a camp to lose weight and compete, and I played the drill sergeant. And so when they met me the day before shooting began, I was wearing a Hawaiian shirt. My normal kind of like vanilla self, you know, like, hi guys, how you doing? And they're saying, you're the drill sergeant? Oh my God. You know, I think they made a mistake. I said, you wait, tomorrow I'm going to make you cry. And every one of them was like, no, God. Because I become the character, and I scared the shit out of them. So that's what I enjoy to do. Anybody who, like Robert De Niro, you know, and like Cape Fear and stuff like that. I love doing stuff like that. Or anybody who just makes people think, cry, laugh, speak in short sentences. I like that kind of actor. Anyway, that's my number one, I guess. There's several others, but you know, I watch it. It's like Mark probably watches the directing. I watch more of the actors. Everybody watches for a different reason, and so I get a lot of you know, advice just by watching people. You know, how they interact with each other.
Right. Just pick up their mannerisms and
yes, and how they react. You know, you don't just wait for your line; you react to the other person's line.
Right.
And you be thinking like you have a backstory, or you have this, you know, you're thinking along with them and reacting to them like you do in real life. And you know, sometimes the pauses are fantastic. I used to think Gary Cooper was was a genius because he took these long pauses, and they finally asked him, "How do you come up with these long pauses?" And he said, "Well, I'm trying to remember my goddamn line." So you think they're brilliant, and maybe they're not, but still it works.
Yeah, well, it's pretty interesting when little quirks like that, become, the master class.
Yeah.
That's cool. Mark, you sent us some behind the scenes snapshots. That's a cool bar.
That's Michelli's restaurant in North Hollywood, and like I said, I've known the owner for years and years. And anytime I need a bar or an Italian restaurant, he makes it available. Here's the key. Lock up when you're gone.
That's so cool.
Great.
It's nice to have so many allies and friends that can really give a hand on such a cool creative project.
Well, that's the thing. It's always important to make friends. This was shot at Asylum Studios. I have a friend who does visual effects for Asylum Pictures, and we needed a location to do some green screen work, so he made it available to us. Nice. And that's that spot.
That's cool. And this one looks like it's in somebody's living room.
This is the cabin. We're all up at the cabin, and we're doing one of our sequences where they're all watching the video of the deceased guy telling them what's going to happen to them.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we got this gem.
Oh, spoiler alert. Larry doesn't make it.
Great shot. Literally, great shot.
Yeah. We actually put a big... Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, Larry, you could just walk it off. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Rub some dirt on it.
Yeah, there you go. A little manure or something, has some healing factor.
Yeah, we actually put a digital hole in his head for the actual movie, so it looks pretty awesome. Yeah, we have a couple of gruesome deaths in this film. And again, it's still a comedy, but when they die, it's pretty gruesome.
Nice. Yeah. So you're a big fan of like blood splatter and everything too.
Not particularly. But I'm a fan of comedy, and I mean, if somebody gets their head blown up, like Monty Python, you've seen the movie where this rabbit bites this guy's head off or whatever, or the guy that gets his arms and legs chopped off and blood spews out. It's comic book violence, Right. The only movie I made that was close to, and it wasn't really violent, but it was close to real life, was Rage of Innocence. It's the one movie I made that's a serious film with very little comedy in it at all. And that deals with a 15-year-old sociopath who doesn't like anybody dating her single mom. And this guy starts dating her, and the girl starts doing everything she can to screw it up, including accusing him of molesting her and having proof to back it up and all that. So there's no blood or violence per se in that film, but it's the one time when I thought, I'm going to try and do something a little different than comedy or parody.
Yeah. Well, it's good to stretch your muscles in that way too.
Well, it was an experiment for me, because usually when you're making a movie like Deceased Won't Desist or Rectuma or any of my other films, they're like cartoon characters, they're not the kind of people you would meet in real life. With Rage of Innocence, it's a real movie, and if the acting isn't real, it won't work. So I kept constantly asking the girls, is this how girls talk? I mean, is this how 15-year-old girls behave? And they gave me some pretty good advice. In fact, the lead actress, her name is Steph Dawson, she ended up getting a role in the Hunger Games movie in Mockingjay, and she was in the last two Hunger Games movies. So we were actually in the process of making the movie when she got the role. And she had to go off and finish or do that movie. And then she came back to finish my film, which I didn't know if she was going to do it. I thought maybe this was her opportunity to move on. But she goes, no, I committed to this and I'll come back. And so we shot without her for a couple of months using doubles and all that. And then she came back and we wrapped it up.
Nice.
So, and she, again, didn't have to come back because I had no legal, no contract really legally. Anybody could walk off any of my films. So you have to go on the honor system and hopefully get people that believe in the project and hopefully believe in me and my crew.
Yeah.
Well, it's such a fantastic reward when people actually, follow through and do what they say they're going to do.
I'm very humbled by it. I mean, I actually got choked up at the cabin one night because just to have, 10 people show up at this cabin, which is about an hour and a half drive from Los Angeles, to do this project without any promise of reward or anything like that. It's very humbling, you know. And I know a guy that made one film and nobody will work for him again because he was playing the part of producer instead of being a humanitarian to his actors, and he was down, talking down to them. And you don't do that. I mean, these are people that are part of a team. If people have ideas, I listen to them. Even if the idea might suck, I will still give them the opportunity to voice their opinion of their character or anything else, because I want everybody to be proud of the end result.
Very cool. Wow, that's so cool. You guys are so wonderfully busy in all these great creative projects, these film projects. And it seems like over the years you both have established strong creative families that you like to go back and do cool projects. What a great way to kind of cultivate a community.
Yeah, well, we brought Deborah Lamb, Larry mentioned, introduced me to him, and she actually brought in a few cast members to this film. And I worked with her once years ago on Death Row Game Show. That's where I met her back in '87. And then she moved to San Francisco. We lost touch, and then she came back in town, and I put her in this film here. And she's been a great asset, not only just to the movie, but to help cast. I even gave her credit as casting babe at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, she supplied about three actors, maybe more, to this movie.
Nice. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, we can't wait for the Deceased Won't Desist, to finally, come out, later on this year. Can't wait to check it out. For everybody that's watching at home, after this interview, make sure to go to pirromount.com and follow up on all of Mark's films and his upcoming projects too. Oh man, Larry, Mark, it's been so good chatting with you. It's these type of conversations that kind of keep me sane with a broken leg and living through a pandemic.
Yeah. You're a great host. Fantastic interviews. So I followed you with great interest.
Oh, thanks. Oh, shoot. Unfortunately, Mark froze up again.
Oh, Mark was thinking that this might be his last film, so let him know that you want more. I've got another film. I've seen some of his films, and they're brilliant. They're really like Mel Brooks and Move Over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm back.
There you are.
Because I brought him out, I knew that was going to screw things up.
Yeah.
But if you want to ask him one more thing before we go, you're welcome to.
Oh, let's see. Oh, do you have something, Larry?
Oh, geez. What is your next film going to be?
No, you can only ask him a yes or no question, Larry. It's like an 8-ball.
Is there going to be another film?
Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know. Honest.
He doesn't know.
It worked.
Not enough pot on the brain for Jesus.
Yeah.
Persuasion.
But, he's limited information.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
nice.
True.
Well, guys, hang around for a few minutes while we sign off. But to everybody out there that tuned in, thanks so much. We appreciate your support. And thanks to Hellfire Entertainment for carrying us on your social media. And to Alien Donut Films, which is Angela Joseph and Bill Victor Arkunin. Thanks so much, guys, and to my producers Stefan Santa Cruz and Amanda Armstrong. Everybody out there, take care of each other. Look out for each other during these tough times. Always remember we love you. And thanks again to Mark and Larry for coming on the show and chatting it up with me.
You bet. Bless you all.